Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Just Like You show. I am your host, Alexis Christine, and I am a spiritual mindset coach and Reiki master, helping women break through their limiting beliefs, rewire their brain, and manifest the life of their dreams. Just Like You is a podcast for all of the divine souls looking for guidance on their healing and ascension journey. We explore the depths of the universe, hold space for vulnerable conversations about spirituality and self-development, delve into the esoteric things like how to manifest, star seeds, the astral realm, and shed light on taboo topics such as plant medicine and so much more. I am honored that you are here to take this journey with me. I want everyone listening to be able to leave each episode feeling inspired and having learned something tangible to take away into their day-to-day life. If you feel called to work with me or explore this work deeper, please reach out at imalexischristine.com or you can DM me on Instagram at iam.alexischristine. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Just Like You show. This is your host, Alexis Christine, and I am so excited for you guys to listen to today's episode. We have an amazing guest on. Her name is Steph Cabrera, and she is just the most magical human, and I am so happy that we have crossed paths because after recording this, I found out that we just have so much in common, and I feel like it's such spiritual, universal alignment in a time where I'm trying to call in more friends on a similar wavelength to me in London. And she actually lives quite close, so it's amazing. She focuses on something called embodied living. And through that, there's so many different modalities. There's breath work, there's yoga, there's kundalini, releasing repressed emotions, just so many different things that we're going to be talking about in today's episode. So get strapped in and get excited because there is so much knowledge being dropped in today's episode, and I'm so excited for you guys. As per usual, if you guys are enjoying the podcast, please leave us a review, share it with your friends. I just want to help as many people as I can on their journeys and share all of the different modalities available to us. And I really appreciate you guys helping me grow this podcast by sharing and reviewing and posting to your stories and all of the other amazing things you guys have been doing. So love you. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Just Like You show. I am your host, Alexis Christine, and I have a super exciting guest with me today. Her name is Steph. Steph, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello. Hi. My name is Steph. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited for this.
Thanks for coming. I'm so excited too. So Steph and I actually met, I think it was 2021.
Pandemic.
Yeah, like middle of the pandemic. I joined a virtual event where she was hosting a workshop on it, and yeah, that's basically how we met.
And yeah, we just exchanged. I think we just started following each other on Instagram and liking, sharing, supporting each other from distance. And then I think I moved here, but I didn't even know you lived here.
I think you were living in London at that time already, you know?
I was. Yes. You're right. I was, yeah.
And it turns out we actually live very close to each other, so.
New friends.
Okay, so before we get into you and who you are and what you do you know your sun, moon, and rising?
Do I know my
sun, moon, and rising?
I don't.
You don't?
I'm
shocked.
So surprised. Everyone's always so shocked, and it's like a part of spirituality that I probably have not explored, and that's astrology.
That's fun.
And I don't know if it's because I believe it. I do. I just sometimes feel that if I read my sign and it says that anticipates something, I am going to be thinking that that's going to happen. And I feel like, do you know, anticipating things. So I'd rather not.
Letting it like control your life, basically.
Exactly. Because I think when I was younger, I was like, my sign's saying that I shouldn't do this and that. And I was sort of like limiting myself to think and do things. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. But if you can introduce me to it, please.
Yeah, no worries. And what is your human design? Because that I know you know.
I actually haven't done one yet. I know.
What?
I know
we were just talking
it.
about human design.
I actually haven't done
your own chart.
I've actually like done my friends, and I haven't done mine. Again, fear of knowing not what's wrong with me, but what's limiting me, and facing those fears.
So I think that in my experience, human design and astrology are different in the way that human design just helps you understand how you work and your energy.
Yeah.
Whereas astrology is more telling you like what will happen at different points in your life.
I think one of my friends did it for me once, and okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but she said, okay, no, I can't remember. I'm gonna make something up, and I won't remember. No,
it's okay. I'm curious.
What's yours?
I'm a manifester, and my life path is 6-2.
Yeah, I'm definitely a manifester as well.
It has nothing to do with manifesting.
No,
it's the way that your energy works.
I know nothing about this. What are the other ones?
So I think there's 7 total. So there's a generator, a manifesting generator, which are similar but different. And then there's the manifester, which is me. We're like 7% of the population. There's projectors, and then there's reflectors. And I think projectors and reflectors are both quite rare. The majority of people are either a generator or a man-gen.
Yeah. But this is done by the day you were born, the hour and all that, and where like the planets were when you were born, right?
I don't know if it has anything to do with the planets. I'm not sure exactly how it's figured out. It was created by Ra Uhuru, I think is how you say his name. And he just like channeled it from source, like a divinely channeled thing, and it's relatively new. Like I think it's only like 50 years old or something. Yeah, because
I've only heard about it recently.
Yeah,
actually through TikTok, and my best friend who's really into it as well.
Yeah, so it's quite new still. So I'm not sure exactly how he did it, but it like spot on to a T, everything about me. I'm just like, except for digestion, I haven't had a chance to really explore that area yet.
Yeah.
Because it does tell you how your body digests food best. But
did someone do it for you? Because I think I went online and I did like a quick one, and I can't remember the results, but it was quite complex to understand.
So I literally have done almost every. So I did the, what's it called? I can't remember. I did the one, Jen as always, with my human design. I pulled up my chart there, and then I did the other one that's really popular, not body graph, maybe it is body graph. I can't remember the name. And then recently, someone that I met in Mexico told me about another website called human.design, and you put in your thing, and it's free. I have a 50-page document explaining everything about my chart, like what energy centers are open, which ones are closed, what it means, like so much. I haven't even had time to sit and read it through, but I follow a lot of human design Instagrams and TikToks, and I've like kind of figured out a lot for myself before I found this.
I think I did that. I went online and I did my own, and I think I was overwhelmed with the amount of information that came back, and I just did not know what it meant.
And there's like different parts of it too. Like half of the chart is your subconscious or unconscious brain, and the other half is like your conscious.
Yeah.
So there's like different aspects for you in both those areas, and then it tells you whether you're like a specific manifestor or a non-specific manifestor. So like how you should actually manifest things. And like, there's just so much information.
This is like a whole different podcast.
I know. I want to do a podcast episode on it. I just need to find someone who is like, experienced in talking about it. Because I know enough of myself, but I can't sit here and be an expert and talk about it all. So
of course. Well, I'll be the first one listening to that one.
Okay. Next question is, where are you from, and what is your cultural upbringing?
Ooh. How much time do we get? So I was born and raised in Colombia, and what was my cultural upbringing? Very strict parents, who my dad was always working a lot, so I pretty much grew up with my mom and my brothers always being around. Lots of love, mm-hmm. for sure. But my dad was always working, and sorry, I might get a bit emotional because I don't really open up about this part of my life a lot.
Don't feel pressure.
I feel like no, it's just because not everyone asks you those things. So there was a point in our life where my dad became very successful, and if you know anything about Colombia, is that, you know, the guerrillas and all that. In that time, I think it was in the early 90s, my dad's company became really very successful, and they wanted to take over his company. And so it began a long process of a lot of running away, trying to hide, and you know, so my dad was gonna get kidnapped, and it was very painful. It was a lot of trauma things that happened in our lives. So that, I think, there's a lot of part of my lives that I sort of forgotten and put it aside, but now talking about it is making me emotional for a reason, because obviously there is so trauma in there. So yeah, it was very traumatic. Strict, loving, but at the same time, all of these things happened in my life. And then we moved out of Colombia, obviously, because we were we wanted to be safe, my family. So we moved to Canada when I was 16 years old. And then our family dynamic completely changed. It was like my dad was used to be this macho man controlling. Then he sort of like opened up to the whole, 50-50 women, contribute the same as men. And yeah, he became a completely different person. And so did my mom. And they ended up divorcing. Sorry, I laugh now, but it's just, I guess they found themselves. So, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And how has that kind of life path brought you to where you are now?
So basically, going through everything that we went through and then living in a very peaceful way when we lived in Canada, I lost myself in the process, because adapting, like I said to you earlier, like I become really, really, really good at adapting and adjusting to different school, different people, different culture. I lost myself and my roots, my Colombian side of me, because I was always hanging out with, I guess, Canadians, which I love so much. And then high school was very hard. College was hard for me as well. And I think it's only been into the last, I'm going to say 4 years that I've actually explored my spirituality and myself. And I've actually realized that although my memory and I've forgotten things about my past, because I've chose to, I guess, unconsciously, my body still remembers. And that's something that I always bring into my teaching as a breathwork facilitator, coach, is that things happen in our life that are very traumatic or very, they leave a mark in us, and we choose to put it in the back burner and forget and not deal with them. And so I realized that there was a lot of work that I needed to do to explain why I act and do the things that I do. And so I got into yoga first, because I was just like, there's got to be more to life than this. Like, I know within myself that I am special and I have something to give to the world. And so I went to India and I explore. Yeah.
That sounds so cool.
2 months.
Eat, pray, love moment.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I was working as a flight attendant, traveling the world in my 20s. Oh my gosh, so much fun. If you're young in your 20s, I highly suggest that you become a flight attendant if that's something you want to do. I had a lot of fun. But then late 20s, I was like, I'm still missing something. There's got to be something out there. And I was dragging my feet to go to work, even though I've always been a very happy person to go to work, live in the moment. But there was something missing. And so I was just like, okay, you know what? I love yoga. I'm going to explore this path more. So I signed up for a teaching training course, and that's another story itself. But so I went to India for 2 months, and it was the most beautiful, life-changing experience ever. And that's what opened up my whole spirituality world and yoga, and explore self-reflection and so many beautiful things. And that's when I first learned about breathwork. And so obviously through my training, I learned about pranayama, which is breathing.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's how it sort of got started, the whole breath work.
That is such a beautiful journey. I love that you went to India for 2 months and did that. That's like a dream experience.
That was a culture shock for sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at first when I got there, I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know if I can do it. And then I didn't want to leave the people, the food, the experience.
It just sounds amazing.
There's so many spiritual awakenings that I had there. It was just the most beautiful thing. So I highly recommend, if you want to get into yoga. I mean, not everyone has the means to do it. I was working as a flight attendant, so I was able to get my flights for free. But go to India. Go to a place where that's where it originated. And that's where you're going to get the real connection with the practice. And you're going to I went into a place where the teachers were all from India, and that's what I really wanted, because I believe that we westernize everything and ruin it.
I'm not going to name drop the company on this, because it's not necessary, but there's a yoga studio in London that I wanted to go to for hot yoga, because I don't know why it's so hard to find hot yoga around here. And I asked them, like, do you guys keep any of the Sanskrit names in there? Like, do you do any spiritual practices with it? And they said no, because they find it alienates people who are trying to learn about yoga. And I'm like, that's not going to alienate them. That's going to teach them.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like every single studio I found in London has completely transformed it into a way of exercise instead of keeping any of the actual spiritual practices behind it or what it's actually meant for. And I can't. Like the yoga studio, like I went to PYC back home, Power Yoga Canada, and it's the most beautiful thing. Like they keep all of the spiritualness, the breath work, everything in the practice. They really do honor the heritage and where it came from. And in London, it's just stripped away everywhere. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I haven't done any yoga since I've been here because I hate them all. I'm like, all of you are just trash.
I know. And I just think that people here are like, oh, I don't want the whole woohoo part of it.
Yeah.
But yoga is more than asanas. Yoga is more than the physical practice. And that's what I came to realize. When I step on my mat, it's a moment of like the ego just drops. There's moments of stillness and silence where I literally find myself and find the answers that I'm looking for, whatever I set my intention to be in that. And that's why yoga for me, it's more than a physical activity. It's a spiritual practice. It's a beautiful thing. I highly recommend, not just because you're gonna look good or you get to do all this headstands. That it's not about the asanas. That's just one branch of yoga. There's 8 limbs, and that's one of them, and I don't think people understand that deeply. So pranayama, it's one of the other limbs of yoga, and that's what, when I was in India, I'm going to tell you my experience and why I decided to go into breath work.
Perfect. That was going to be one of my next questions. So wonderful.
Beautiful. We're connected. Easy flowing. There was this English guy. He a yoga teacher, and he's been going to India for many, many years, and he goes there for his personal practice. He goes into a school and practices for 2 hours every morning and at night. So he's doing all the right things, I think. And so one day he came into our yoga shala and he said, oh, I want to show you guys this new practice that everyone is doing. It's sort of like pranayamas, but it's a little bit more, I would say, contemporary use. And I was like, yeah, for sure. So we all sat there and he started explaining the breathing techniques that we were doing. And oh my God, I experienced something like an out-of-body experience. Like I was floating and it was just amazing. And I said, what happened? What happened to me there? Because there was people crying in the class, and me, I was just having this like energy flowing through my body, and I had goosebumps, and it was just a beautiful experience. So I explored with him more. I said, okay, what is this? And he's like, okay, it's called breath work, and it's basically what you do in yoga with your breath, but you incorporate different breathing techniques, and there is obviously you pay attention more to the science behind it, and so I was just sold by it. I'm like, okay, this is, I want to learn more about it. I want to teach it. I want to incorporate it into my yoga teaching. And he's like, yeah. So I came back to London. I went back to Toronto actually, and somehow disconnected from it. I don't know what happened. And
I feel like that's the energy of big cities.
I don't know what happened. I think I got discouraged by, like we said, like the Western side of it. Like I wanted a bit more spirituality, and I was faced with snobby yogis. Very sad. But then a year later, I was like looking again for breath work, and then so I came across the Iceman.
Oh yeah,
Wim Hof, and
Love
then
him.
Dan Brule, and then I went to a Lululemon event. And I took another breathwork class with Richie, who is the breath guy. He's called the breath guy on Instagram. Amazing.
I think I actually follow him. Or I did at one point. Yeah.
So I did his class, bought his book and all that. And again, I had another out-of-body experience. I was floating and I talked to him, super nice guy. And he wasn't doing any trainings, but he told me where to go to get the training. So I finally did my training, and it's changed my life. It's changed my life completely. Like I tell you, right, looking into you right in the eyes, because I still learned every day from my practice. But if you're looking to transform your life, there's many different ways that you can transform your life. But this is like a really powerful healing tool that you can use that is at your disposition right here, your breath.
It's free, essentially.
It's so free.
So what exactly is breath work?
So breath work, I'm going to make it very simple. So breath work is the use of breath awareness, which is also known as breath watching. So you watch your breath. And the second part is the use of conscious breathing. So it's doing the breathing techniques. So you can use this as a tool for spiritual awakening, personal development, transformation of mind, body, and spirit. So you basically, if you have a hard time meditating because your mind is too busy, breath work is for you.
Okay.
Because you sit there in silence, but instead of just thinking of nothing and trying to like, oh, I don't know what to do, you shift your attention completely to the first and most important part of breathwork meditation is breath awareness. So you watch your breath. You watch what's happening within yourself. You check in your body. And then the second part is just applying the breathing techniques. And that's basically it.
That's interesting you say that, because one, I've had a lot of people on my TikTok ask me recently, like, what can I do to help me focus more in meditation? And I'm always just like, just do an active meditation. Like, you don't, if you're struggling, then just do an active meditation.
So basically that's it. Breathwork is an active meditation.
But when I'm struggling, the thing that I go to is just box breathing, and I literally just pay attention to my breath, and it helps keep all the other thoughts out of my head. But like box breathing for me is just something that I do to like calm my system. Yeah. Does that fall under breath work, or is that
Absolutely. That's one of the breathing techniques, and the most popular one. It's actually used by Navy SEALs before they go into combat to help them focus. Yeah. And relax. Absolutely. So why don't we get a little bit into the science of breath work and how it works? So basically, without getting too complex, so our nervous system is composed of one important part, which is the automatic nervous system. And that's basically in charge of all the things that happen automatically in your body. So like your heart beating, your digestion, all of these things are happening without you taking control of it or doing anything. Your nervous system has two branches below that autonomic nervous system, and those two branches are your sympathetic and parasympathetic. Okay, you probably heard this before. And your parasympathetic is basically what's in charge of your rest and digest mode, your responses. And then your sympathetic nervous system is all of the fight or flight responses of your body. So for example, when you're in a dangerous situation and you have to run, then your sympathetic nervous system kicks in and tells you, we gotta run, we gotta go. And so you're go mode. And when you are relaxing, watching TV, or you're meditating, you're in a rest and digest mode. Or maybe after you finish a meditation class or something where you're really relaxed, then obviously that part of your nervous system is kicking. What happens is that we have forgotten how to breathe and use our breath to regulate our nervous system, and we get stuck in one side. So for example, I'll give you something I realized through my training and doing my breathing techniques is that I was a very reactive person before, and even growing up. And I remember my brothers were always like, why are you always so like always on like mode, like I'm gonna fight you, which is so weird. I would never, but I was always very defensive. That's it. That's the word, defensive. And the reason why I understood is that we are constantly overstimulated by everything around us, whether it is, our phones or, our work or expectations. So we are constantly living in a mode of fight or flight. So we suppress our rest and digest responses of the body. So you're always in go mode. So if a situation happens to you and it triggers something in you, you're going to react instead of responding. So what we do with the breath is that we help ourselves use our breath to regulate those two systems. To, instead of suppressing our rest and digest mode, then we bring it to balance, because we need both. It doesn't mean that you want to suppress your fight or flight mode. It means that you need that, because when you wake up and you want to feel energized, there's different breathing techniques that you can implement to give you that kick of energy that you need.
Okay.
For example, breath of fire. Have you heard of it? Doing like that really...
Oh, yeah.
So we use that in yoga to warm up the body from the inside out, but you can do that breathing technique in the morning to give you a kick of energy before you even drink your coffee. So it stimulates your sympathetic nervous system, so you're more energized. That doesn't mean that you're in a fight-flight mode, but it's just bringing it up. And if you go into sleep, you can also implement breathing techniques to help you bring your parasympathetic nervous system responses up and feel more relaxed and fall asleep faster. So we basically can use our breath to lower stress, anxiety, depression. It's actually used for people with PTSD. It's a beautiful thing.
Wow. So many benefits that you listed, like right there.
It's honestly, I can talk on and on because it's just basically all you need to know is that your breath is a powerful tool. Mm-hmm. It's a healing tool that you can use to help you feel either energized or to feel more relaxed. So the way that I teach my classes, I basically take you through a journey, but for you to understand that there is 3 categories of breathing techniques, right? So the first one, it would be breathing techniques to energize you. Mm-hmm. Then the middle one would be breathing techniques to balance your energy. So in the middle of the day when you don't want to feel super energized or you don't want to feel like sleepy or calm, mm-hmm. you need a balance of energy. There is different breathing techniques like box breathing that you can do to balance your energy. And then at night, you can implement breathing techniques like to help you fall asleep and feel more relaxed, which also are breathing techniques that you can implement when you're feeling like an anxiety attack come in, or if you feel overwhelmed or stressed, or you're going into an interview and you're nervous. I use it a lot whenever I put myself out of my comfort zone into situations where I need to be more relaxed, and obviously always implement my breathing techniques.
It's interesting. So the box breathing that I mentioned before, if I'm ever feeling anxious or something else, that's what I normally do. And it's been a really good way for me to kind of just regulate like my breathing, but I find like, I think the only reason it calms me down is because I know like in my brain, breath work is supposed to calm me down, not because that actual technique is what's calming me down. Oh, really? So it's interesting to say now that there's ones to actually take away anxiousness, whereas the box breathing is more balancing. So I feel like that's literally what I get from it. I feel more balanced, but I don't have like the lack of anxiety. And one of the other things that I went through last year, was it last year? Some end of 2020, beginning of 2021, was actually a lot of releasing emotions, because I used to be the queen of like repressing all of my emotions. All my friends said I had a black heart or an ice heart. Like I never cried at anything. I was like the most unemotional person ever. You could not get any ounce of sympathy or empathy or anything out of me. Like everything was completely repressed. And then once I got to the point where I started learning how to release those repressed emotions, partially with breath work, partially with things like journaling and just other things, it's now become like an open floodgate where like everything makes me emotional, and like I'm constantly releasing all the time. So even if it's something that has nothing to do with why I'm crying, like it'll just set me off, and like I'll all of a sudden just get so emotional about it. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit how breath work can help people like me who repress everything heal that stagnant energy in our bodies?
Basically, the analogy that I like to use, and I always tell people whenever they come to my class and they have some sort of like emotion come out, it's imagine that through your whole life you're carrying this big luggage, and you're adding on to every experience and everything that happens in your life, whether it's good or bad. You're stored in this carry-on or in this big luggage, and you not only store this memories and things that happen in your life in your brain, but you also store it in your body. There's a really good book to read. It's called The Body Keeps the Score.
Okay.
Yes. Basically, the author explains how what I'm saying, that everything that happens in your life, we store it in the body and we carry it on with us. So the analogy of carrying on this big luggage that we put on everything, at some point, like you suppressing all your feelings and everything and filling up your bag with all of these things, it gets heavy to carry. And then you sort of had this anxiety attack or something out of nowhere where you start feeling anxious and you don't know why. It's because your body physically, mentally, emotionally is carrying on to all of this experiences, feelings, thoughts, emotions within yourself. And so what happens is breath work, I always explain it as breath work is to break through those stagnant energy and walls of store memories and traumas in our life that we stored in our body. Through the breath, we're able to break through and open the doorway to allow this traumas to leave our body. So during a breathwork session, you will experience, everything will come up to the surface because all these walls or these barriers are being broken with our breath. I always explain how the debris come to the surface, and then you have all this, like, whether you want to laugh, you want to cry, or you break out in sweats, or you want to vomit. That's your body purging. That's your body getting rid of all of this stored stagnant energy. And that's why people go to the doctor and they're like, I have back problems, or I have chest problem, but you get all your blood tests done and everything. They're like, but everything looks fine. But emotionally, mentally, you're not, because you're storing all of these things in your body. So the beautiful thing of breathwork is that you transcend into a blissful state of mind once you release all of this pain from your body and offload your carry-on, like I said. Like, it gets heavy, so you have to offload so you can continue on your journey in life and, store more things in your body as you would, and let them go. There's another really good book. It's Waking the Tiger.
Okay.
And similar things, and explaining how the animals, when they are confronted in a very dangerous situation, it happens, and then they walk away and they shake it off. I don't know if you've ever seen a dog, when they go into another animal, they just bark at each other and then they just sort of shake it off. That is the way that the animals release that tension of what just happened to them, that confrontation with that other animal, or when they are faced with a life or threat situation, they shake it off. Us as humans, we go through life confronting things, and all these things happen, and we don't let them go. We don't shake it off like animals do. We store them in our body. And so this is where breathwork comes in, meditation, yoga, and all of those beautiful mindful activities that can help you release all of those stagnant energy that we stored throughout our life. So,
wow.
Yes.
This is going to be such a random question, but if we were to literally just like shake, would it do the same thing?
Yes, absolutely. Have you ever been, whenever you get an intrusive thought, or whenever you feel that I used to be a bit crazy, I can admit it. I can admit I've been in relationship with, I was a jealous person and created scenarios in my brain that were never going to happen, that you can actually make yourself sick of your stomach and upset of something that hasn't happened yet. Yes. So I basically train myself to tap and shake. So whenever I start getting all this unnecessary things that are never going to happen that I start creating in my brain, I tap and I shake. I shake my body.
Interesting, because I've heard of like ecstatic dance and that kind of movement for releasing.
Love
so good.
dancing.
I went to them in Mexico and I was like, this is just the best thing in the entire world.
I do it here all the time. You should join me.
I would love to.
Yeah, I do it in Hyde Park.
No way, they have that in Hyde Park?
Yeah, they have it all over the city, but Hyde Park is super nice. And in the summer when the sun is shining,
it's going to be a summer vibe for me.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. 100% will come.
Yeah, so in my classes, I do mindful movement and I do breathwork, like combination of both, where we obviously do tapping. I don't know if you heard of emotional freedom technique tapping, which I use.
Yes, EFT. I didn't know it was emotional freedom. I knew it was emotional something.
Basically, that's what it is. You're freeing yourself. It's sort of like acupressure. You use your fingers to tap onto these meridian points that we have all throughout the body, but there are main ones, and we start tapping the ones in the face. And basically what you do is that you're stimulating those points to send a message to the brain to let know that release of that thought. And at the same time, you repeat a phrase of an affirmation of what you want to let go. So I practice that. So the random question you said, like, have you ever shaken? Yeah, I do. I snap myself out of that. And that's what I do. If you start to create scenarios in your head, or negative thoughts are taking over you, what you have to do is use your body. Because we live in our minds so much.
Yeah,
we're always
we
like
really do.
cloud nine. We're like in our heads all the time. And we forget that we are a vessel of life that works as one. Our mind and our body work as one. And if you've ever experienced an anxiety attack, all of the things, the symptoms that are happening, they're happening in your body. You start to sweat. Your heart starts to beat really fast. You feel sick of your stomach. Your chest feels tight. That's an anxiety attack, and the symptoms and the signals is your body is sending the signals. But what do? We start questioning, why am I feeling this way? Was it something I did?
Oh my
Was
God.
it something I said? No, you have to get out of your head and into your body. So what you do, you start breathing. You sit down and start, and that is your breath is the only part of your autonomic nervous system that you have control over, that you can take over your body and say, no, I choose not to go into that energy. I'm staying here, safe in my body, and paying attention to the signals that the body's sending you.
It's so interesting that you say that, because in January, for the first time in my entire life, I had 2 anxiety attacks. So like the tightness in the chest, the nausea, and like one of them I was literally just walking to the grocery store and it just hit me out of nowhere. And I was like, what is this? So I started doing the box breathing as I was walking, but my process was to like think backwards, like what was I just thinking about? What was it that triggered this feeling? Like what was and I at that time was going through a very difficult situation. So I'm assuming, because I haven't had any since, like that's probably what it was relating to. But my first instinct was to go in my head and be like, where did this come from? What am I feeling? Where is it occurring in my body? What was I thinking about when it happened? Like,
we go in our head.
And I was doing the box breathing, but it was all like a mental thing as well. Like I was box breathing along with the mental.
Oh, so you're contradicting what you were doing.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. You just brought that up.
So you basically, what you want to do is, when things like that happen, because it's very common, I encounter a lot of people that experience anxiety attacks and depression, and anytime I meet people like that, I'm just like, let me take the pain away from you. Come to my breathwork classes. You basically take a journey in. You go in your body. You breathe in and imagine that you are the air that you breathe in, and imagine all the beautiful process that it has to go through to go to each cell of your body, and that beautiful exchange of gas between oxygen and CO2. Here's a beautiful thing that I always like to tell everyone whenever you feel disconnected. Go into nature, okay? Obviously, plants emanate CO2 for us, right? Oxygen for us. And we breathe the oxygen. And when we exhale CO2. And guess what? The plants feed from our CO2. So that beautiful exchange from the outside world in, it happens inside of us. So it's a way for us to connect with the outside world. So remember that next time you feel a bit. That's where I go. Like nature is my happy place. Yeah. So whether it's a park, specifically anywhere near water, I've got the park just over there that has so much greenery, and then the canal running through it, and I'm like, this is just perfect. I can sit on my hill of grass, overlook the water. I just have such a connection to it, and that's why when I'm moving, I want to go somewhere with so much more greenery, because I've got the park here, but I want to walk out my front door and just feel immersed in it and just be like, green. Of course. And that's why people wonder why they feel so disconnected. They feel sad. They don't know what's happening, because we live in a concrete jungle. If you're lucky enough to live somewhere near the sea, somewhere where you have beautiful nature around you, then that's amazing, and you're probably a different person. But when reality is that a lot of us live in a concrete jungle, and we take the tube to go to work, and then we come home, and then we watch TV, and very little time is spent outside. So if you want to get to know yourself better, if you want to, do the work of digging deep within yourself to get to know into your true essence, go spend time in nature, go do breath work. That's my favorite thing to do. In the summer, I teach outside, because it just feels the fresh. Well, I don't know how fresh the air in London is, but if you're in a park, it's fresher. So you connect more with yourself and nature. And grounding, when if you guys do go to the parks, take off your shoes and walk around in the grass and let your energy connect with the nature and with the energy of the earth. Yes, it's absolutely. So good. It's bare feet, walk around, go to the park, maybe try not to step on poo, but it's fine. Yeah, I try and do it daily. Yeah, so that's what I do. Breathwork changed my life. Is a transformational tool that's right at your fingertips, and I highly recommend that you give it a try, and don't be surprised if you come to a class, and one of my classes or anyone's class, and you have breakthrough, or you release some sort of energy that you don't know where it came from. Today I had a mom and a daughter that were I was feeling fine when I came in, but now I feel something, and it doesn't mean that I feel bad. I just wasn't aware. that I had to let go of something.
Wow.
And her body was, I could see in the class, she was shaking. So you shake, that's your body purging, releasing.
Yeah.
So imagine we're energy.
It's so powerful.
Everything that's happening right now, that you're digesting, you're breathing, you're moving, is not just like it's biologically, your body is a beautiful, intelligent machine that is moving automatically, doing what it needs to do. But the energy is what making it happen. Your own energy, your prana, your life source, kundalini, your chi.
Speaking of kundalini, have you ever done a CAP session?
No. Cup session.
Kundalini activation process.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I never call it like that. I didn't even know. I have, yes. And I've had a couple of downloads.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Is that something that you include in your embodied living?
Absolutely.
It is? Okay. Oh my gosh. This is really exciting. Can you talk about what a CAP session is then? Because I actually didn't hear about it. Like, I didn't know what it was until I was in Mexico and people started talking about it. And I wanted to get to a session before I left, but I found out about it in my last week and the timing just didn't align. And I've been trying to find people in London to do it, and I just can't find it anywhere. I'm really excited that you do it.
So what I love is that I incorporate different teachings. So it's not just the contemporary breath work, but I use Kundalini, I use pranayama, all in one session. So what happens during Kundalini? So Kundalini is an energy that sits dormant at the bottom of the spine. Okay. We all have it. And when we do these breathing techniques and the movements at the same time, you're basically igniting and activating this energy to travel up through the body. And it travels through from the bottom of the spine, from your root chakra, all the way to the top of your head, your crown chakra. And so it's moving up to you, through you. You know, your chakras are this energy centers. They're like wheels, and they're constantly moving. And when we feel stagnant, when we have stagnant energy, we have a blockage of that energy. Yeah, right?
I got 3 blocked right now.
And every center of energy, your chakra, it represents, for example, you know, your creativity, your self-love, or maybe your way to your throat chakra is your communication, your openness, and all of that. So when these energy centers are blocked, you can use Kundalini to help, and breath work to help you open up these centers, to allow them for these wheels to continue to move as they should in a rhythmic up and down. So a download, what happens, honestly, I can't explain it, but what happens is you feel a moment of blissfulness without any, psychedelics or anything like that. It feels like you're high. You get high on your own supply, and happens on breathwork as well. You open up this energy centers, especially your crown chakra, and then you get this, how do I explain it? This magic communication from another world. And you feel that you have a big realization about yourself. And to me, it's almost like my higher self, my guardian angels, they're talking to me. And I had a beautiful, beautiful experience not too long ago doing a Kundalini class. I was actually dancing first. It was an active meditation. We were dancing. And then we sat down, and through this breathing that we were doing and the movement, it opens up like a portal. And I met my higher self.
Wow.
And I'm probably going to get emotional again because I'm super emotional if you haven't realized yet. I asked a question before I went into the meditation, as you should when you go into meditation, or set an intention. But I wanted to ask my higher self if what I'm doing in this reality, in this life, it's right. Like, am I doing the right thing? I just wasn't sure what to ask. And I honestly, I saw this beautiful light that it was in the shape of human, and it was holding my hands, and I just started bawling my eyes out, because the question that I asked was answered not in words, but in a feeling.
Wow.
So that whatever answer I was looking for, I got my answer. This energy of my higher self was holding my hands, and I felt the answer go through me, through my hands, through my body, and I feel chills. And I remember standing up. I remember standing up and I just went on my knees and I started bawling my eyes out because I just felt like, oh my God, like this weight lifted off my shoulders. And I don't know, even though I just asked a simple question, I got such a beautiful answer. And the answer was, you're doing exactly what you need to be doing in this life. And you're a light, and you need to share this light with the world and your energy. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And that's exactly what I do with every person that I meet. I love meeting people, and I love, asking them about their life and connecting in a very deep way and sharing that light and energy that my higher self told me to share. So that happened during a Kundalini download.
I got chills as you were telling that story. Holy crap.
Yeah, I got home and I remember telling my partner and crying at the same time. And this is the first time I don't cry telling the story.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Probably because we had a construction break.
Yeah, probably.
So what exactly is embodied living then? Because that's the package that you kind of encompass. And you've talked about yoga, you've talked about breathwork, and you've talked about Kundalini. But what actually even is embodied living? And then what are the other components of it?
So embodied living is basically when you connect fully with your body, and it's like you realize that your body is your home and you're fully connected and you're fully alive, and you realize that what's happening to you is not happening to you for you. Mm-hmm. So embodied living is when you fully connect your mind and your body, and you're present in your house, in your body. So through my embodied living, basically I teach breath work, yoga, so movement, breath work, and plant medicine. I'm a herbal enthusiast, and I incorporate plant medicine in everything that I do because I believe in the healing power of plants. Plants are our teachers. They've been around forever. They coexist. Nature is beautiful. They give us the oxygen that we need. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how we don't understand that. So in my teaching, when I work with someone, I guess I'm a self-proclaimed wellness coach. I teach embodied living and teach people how to use plants to work for you, and what kind of plants, because not all of the plants obviously work for you. There's adaptogenic nerves, there's nervine plants that you can use, and then bringing them all together in my workshops. What I do is that I teach people about plants, what they are, how you should use them, and what kind you should be taking. And then we sort of do like a tea ceremony, and then I do a mindful movement practice, and then we do the breath work, and it's really, really beautiful.
I love that. So I'm also a little mini herbalist and enthusiast. I have a little apothecary in my kitchen. So I'm just curious, what is your favorite herb for just in general?
In general, and the one that I've stored by and been taking, I have to say there's two, and probably everyone knows it, is maca powder.
Okay.
Maca has been my savior because I get a lot of mood swings, especially that time of the month. Obviously because of hormonal, we go as women, our menstrual cycle, we go through different hormonal ups and downs. So maca it's an adaptogenic that is incredibly good for women and men. Actually, for men, maca, I think there's purple maca because there's different kinds. It's really good for men, and so I take the yellow maca every day. I add it to my overnight oats.
Wow.
It helps. It gives you energy. It balances your mood, your energy. And it's also good for libido. It increases your libido.
It's so funny. So I actually own maca, but whenever I need an adaptogenic, I find I go to ashwagandha for some reason.
And that's my second one.
Is it? Oh my
yes, it is.
So both of them are adaptogenic.
Yeah. So basically ashwagandha is an adaptogen that it's one of those that is a nervine as well. Okay. Which means that you can take it before bed, because adaptogens are stimulants, so they're going to stimulate your nervous system. And what adaptogens are, for those that don't know, it's herbs that help the body adapt to stress or different situations of stress. And ashwagandha and maca are both adaptogens, and ashwagandha is one of them that is a nervine that you can take before bed, so it can help you fall asleep. Ashwagandha is good for everything.
That I didn't know. So whenever I have them, I put them in my smoothies, which is always the beginning of the day. I did not know you could take adaptogenics at night. Well, not all of them.
Not all of them, but ashwagandha is one of them.
So interesting.
I take it as I have the dried root, but I also have the extract because I like to just have a couple of drops before bed. Ashwagandha, holy basil is like the queen of herbs. I absolutely love holy basil. It's like mood uplifting, so it's really good to take. It's also really good for pain as well, for menstrual cramps.
So is hibiscus.
Hibiscus.
So that's one of the ones that I use.
So my 3 favorite for PMSing or menstrual cramps is maca, ashwagandha, holy basil, and Vitex. Vitex is the best.
I don't even think I've heard of that.
Vitex is really good for period cramps, and you'll find this in like a lot of those PMSing products. So you can see that's main ingredient. Also, something I want to mention is ashwagandha. It overstimulates your thyroid. So you have to make sure that if you suffer from under or overactive, you have to make sure that it's not affecting you. So always plants are good, but we have to understand their properties. We have to understand the benefits and how they counteract and how they work together. If you want to incorporate herbal, like plant medicine into your diet, you really have to do your research, know what's the dosage, how much you should take, and always start small. So if you're going to start taking maca, take a teaspoon and then increase to a tablespoon eventually.
And if you are actually on prescription meds, it might be worth just running it past a naturopath or a certified herbalist or TCM practitioner or some sort of medical profession that works with herbs, and they can give you the info if you're concerned.
Absolutely. So embodied living, that's basically it. You live in your body consciously, taking everything that you do in life should have an intention and should be do it in a conscious way, if that makes sense, right? So
it's the wind chimes again.
It's actually, you know what? A very important part of breath work, meditation, and mindful activities is that you quiet the noises that are outside that you can't control. And that's very important, that you know you can control them, but you can still be in peace with yourself here, ignoring everything outside.
I actually, when I was in Mexico, I started doing that because I was going to bed at like 7 or 8 p.m. every night because I was low-key trying to stay on the UK time zone because it allowed me to wake up early enough without an alarm to go watch the sunrise. So I was waking up at like 5, 6 a.m. naturally without an alarm because alarms suck the life out of my soul. I absolutely hate them. And I knew I wanted to watch the sunrise every day. So I just like stayed on that. But because I was going to bed so early, it was music, it was dogs barking, it was loud motorcycles and cars on the streets. And I was like, I just have to ignore it all, tune it out, and just focus on my breath. And then eventually I just like stopped hearing them altogether. Like I didn't even have to have the practice of focusing. It was just like natural. And I was so proud of myself. I was like, let me
go. Good. Well, you can use your breath obviously at night if you have, just because you say you're trying to fall asleep. One of my favorite breathing techniques, works for me every time, and it's so beautiful when I'm falling asleep and I'm doing this breathing technique. I swear to God, I go into this meditative state of mind. Obviously I go into a deep sleep, but I also have lucid dreams.
Girl, I'm trying so hard. I know I'm dreaming, but as soon as I know I'm dreaming, that's it. I can't control shit. It's so frustrating.
Well, there's other things, like your night routine has a big impact. If you want to try lucid dreaming, that could be another episode. A whole other episode. But there is a whole routine and things that I do. I use crystals. I use like a whole night routine that you can do to prepare your mind to go into lucid dreaming.
Okay,
because
we'll have to chat after.
Lucid dreaming it's incredible. It's your subconscious. I believe is like exploring your subconscious mind, and it's always telling you things that you need to know.
Oh, so interesting. Wow. Okay, we need to have a little chat after this.
Yes.
So Steph's actually going to take us through a breathwork technique to close the show. But before we do that, I have one final question that I ask all of my guests.
Oh.
What would you call this chapter of your life?
Ooh. Self-discovering.
Ooh.
Yes, I've definitely, this chapter of my life, it's been a lot of self-reflection and discovering who I am and stepping in my shoes of my true purpose and who I am. Like it wasn't until my 30s, I'm 34 now, till I turned 30, that I realized that I have all the power within myself to be a better person, to discover, to achieve all of my dreams and to get past all of my limiting beliefs, which is still a work in progress, like we all do. But if we're not a work in progress, we're not perfect. So that's part of life. It's a journey that we have to be in. So self-discovered.
I love that. That is so beautiful. Okay, everyone who's listening, get yourself in a comfortable position. Get ready. Steph's going to take us through a breathwork technique. And I think we've agreed on one that it's good for if you're feeling anxiety or anxious or just anything to kind of calm your system, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, when you're experiencing anxiety, you don't, like an anxiety attack about to happen, you don't want to hold your breath for too long because that's going to make you feel more anxious. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a breathing technique. It's called triangle breathing technique. Something I want to mention, if anything I forgot to mention, if you learn anything in this podcast, is that whenever you want to relax, you just have to elongate your exhales. That's it. You elongate, so you inhale for a count of 4 and then exhale for a count of 8. And so when you're going to sleep, you can practice 4-7-8 technique where you inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, exhale for a count of 8.
I've actually noticed that whenever, when your heart beats so loud, you can just feel it. Yeah. Anytime I breathe in, it speeds up. And then anytime I just do a slow exhale, I can literally feel my heart slowing down and calming. And I'm like, why won't it stay like that when I inhale?
So because your inhales are connected to your sympathetic, remember the fight or flight mode that I was talking about earlier, and your exhales are connected to your rest and digest responses of the body, your parasympathetic. Yeah, so anytime you feel stressed, you just take a deep breath and then exhale for as long as you can. But for this breathing technique, we're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, but we exhale for a count of 8.
Okay.
Let's get ready. I'll guide you through it. So make sure that you're sitting straight. Close your eyes. And then we're going to watch our breath. Checking in with our body and how you're feeling today. Observing the breath moving in and out of you without taking control of it. Just for the first little bit. And then we're going to take a deep breath through the nose for a count of 4. We hold for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 8. So let's begin. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4 and hold. 2, 3, 4 and slowly exhale through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So see how if you let the air out really quickly as you exhale, you won't have time to count all the way to 8. So very slowly letting the air out. So let's do it again. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4 and hold. 2, 3, 4 and exhale. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4 and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4 and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. And relax. That's it.
I feel so relaxed. Wow.
I can definitely get lost in this moment of teaching because I find myself, I do the breathing technique with you guys and then I'm like, hold it. But yeah, so basically it doesn't matter if you exhale through the nose or the mouth, just as long as you elongate your exhales, like play around with your breath. If it feels more comfortable to exhale through the nose, then you can do that. Nasal breathing, it's really good to massage a very important nerve, which is called the vagus nerve, to stimulate your rest and digest responses of the body.
Wow. thank you so much for being here. This was such a good chat.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Of course. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell everyone where they can find you? Plug yourself.
Absolutely. So my Instagram is Steph__Cabrera, and my website is stephaniecabrera.com. No, stephcabrera.co.uk. I live in the UK now. And yeah, you can find all my information there. I do coaching one-on-one, and I do workshops in London. So if you live in London, come to my workshops. They're really, really fun. Usually is for women, but men are also welcome. But I love working with women. There's just something so special about connecting with women. When we come together, we create magic.
I do love that. When I was in Mexico, it was a very strong, like, feminine energy community, woman supporting woman, like, which is just nothing I've ever felt before.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. So the fact that you're cultivating this in London, I'm very excited for, because yeah, it was really nice.
It's really important for me to connect with women. We've forgotten our roots, and we forgot that we're queens and we're supposed to hold each other's crowns, you know?
I love that. Oh, okay. Well, again, thank you so much. I hope everyone listening learned something from this, even if it was just like the tiniest little tidbit of knowledge that clicked a light bulb in your brain. And thank you guys all for listening. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, coming from two people just like you.